This case had no traditional victim in the conventional sense, but several young people were exploited by a family member. Welcome back to Cold Case Britain. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your support. New viewers, please subscribe, like, and share this video now. Let's examine the facts. November 11th, 2024. Birmingham Airport. A mother ran an international cocaine empire using her own children. Hamza Shafet was just 17 years old when recruited. Safanor was 19 when she became a drug courier. Muhammad was 22 when drawn into the conspiracy. They were manipulated by someone they trusted completely. Their futures were destroyed by a calculating criminal mind. The conspiracy ran throughout 2024 across multiple countries. It involved cocaine smuggling from Mexico to the United Kingdom. Birmingham Airport became the primary entry point for the drugs. The operation was valued at several million pounds sterling. Fazana Kauser, aged 54, orchestrated the entire criminal network. She lived in Bradford and appeared to be ordinary. To neighbors, she seemed like any other mother and grandmother. But behind closed doors, she directed an international trafficking ring. Kauser recruited her own children to act as couriers. She also brought in her daughter-in-law and a family friend. The group made repeated trips to European cities as cover. They timed their returns to coincide with flights from Cancun. At Birmingham Airport, they collected suitcases filled with cocaine. The bags arrived on long-haul flights from Mexico via Cancun. Kauser's couriers would enter the baggage reclaim area casually. They blended in with legitimate passengers collecting their luggage. The conspiracy was discovered through routine surveillance and intelligence work. Border Force officials noticed suspicious patterns in travel movements. Multiple family members were making identical short trips to Europe. Their return times always matched arrivals from high-risk drug routes. Investigators began monitoring the group's activities more closely in 2024. Evidence mounted over several months of coordinated surveillance operations. On November 11th, 2024, the operation reached its conclusion. 3 members of the gang arrived at Birmingham Airport. They had just returned from another short European trip. This time, Border Force officers were waiting for them. The arrests took place in the arrivals hall shortly after 10 a.m. Officers moved in as the suspects approached the baggage carousel. The timing was deliberate and based on months of intelligence. Searches were conducted immediately at the scene of arrest. Additional arrests followed at addresses across Bradford over subsequent days. In total, 8 individuals were detained in connection with the conspiracy. All were linked directly to Fazana Kauser and her organization. West Yorkshire Police led the investigation alongside Border Force officials. The National Crime Agency provided intelligence support throughout the operation. Investigators began tracking the family's movements in early 2024. Booking records showed repeated short trips to Dublin and Amsterdam. Each trip lasted between 24 and 48 hours maximum. The family members traveled light with minimal or no luggage. Return flights were consistently timed to match Cancun arrivals at Birmingham. This pattern appeared too calculated to be mere coincidence. Surveillance teams monitored the group at airports and their homes. Phone records revealed communications with contacts overseas, including in Pakistan. One contact was referred to only as "Uncle" in messages. This individual appeared to coordinate logistics from abroad remotely. Financial analysis showed unexplained cash deposits and spending patterns inconsistent. Kauser had no declared income sufficient to support the lifestyle observed. Yet she funded multiple international trips for her family regularly. Border Force examined baggage handling procedures at Birmingham Airport carefully. They identified how the gang exploited weaknesses in the system. Suitcases from Mexico were not always individually screened upon arrival. The volume of luggage made complete inspection difficult and time-consuming. Cowser's group used this gap to their clear advantage repeatedly. Couriers would approach the carousel serving the Cancun flight directly. They would wait among genuine passengers without attracting immediate suspicion. When the right suitcase appeared, they simply lifted it away. The bags had been pre-arranged with contacts in Mexico beforehand. Luggage tags and identification details were falsified to avoid detection. Once collected, the couriers walked calmly through the Green Channel. They carried nothing that would trigger alarms or attention initially. The drugs were hidden inside false compartments within the suitcases. High-purity cocaine was vacuum-sealed and concealed beneath clothing layers. In some cases, the compartments were built into the structure itself. X-ray machines did not always detect these expertly constructed hiding places. Investigators later found that the cocaine originated from Mexican cartels. It was transported via established smuggling routes through Central America. Cancun served as a convenient transit hub with heavy tourist traffic. This made suspicious luggage easier to disguise among legitimate holiday baggage. The conspiracy relied on volume and repetition rather than single trips. Each successful run encouraged the group to continue the operation. Over time, they became more confident and less cautious gradually. This overconfidence ultimately contributed to their eventual downfall and exposure. Detectives interviewed passengers who had been present during the arrests. Witnesses described seeing several individuals detained near the baggage carousel. Some recalled noticing the same faces on multiple occasions previously. One airport worker reported seeing a group matching the description regularly. Digital evidence proved crucial in building the prosecution's case thoroughly. Phones seized during arrests contained messages discussing packages and collections. Photographs showed family members at various airports across Europe repeatedly. Flight booking confirmations were found on multiple devices and email accounts. Bank statements revealed cash withdrawals made immediately before each trip abroad. The amounts were consistent with travel expenses, but raised red flags. Cowser's phone contained contact details for individuals in Pakistan and Mexico. Encrypted messaging apps had been used to communicate with overseas contacts. However, investigators were able to retrieve deleted messages from the devices. These messages explicitly discussed drug shipments, weights, and delivery timings clearly. One message referred to the goods arriving Tuesday on a specific date. That date matched exactly with a known Cancun flight arrival time. Another message instructed a courier to collect the red case only. Surveillance footage confirmed a red suitcase being taken that same day. Forensic analysis of the suitcases recovered revealed traces of cocaine. Even after the drugs were removed, residue remained in the compartments. This provided physical evidence linking the luggage to the conspiracy directly. DNA analysis connected several family members to the suitcases and contents. Fingerprints were found on internal compartments and the cocaine packaging itself. Cowser's fingerprints were present on materials used to prepare the shipments. This placed her at the center of the operation, beyond doubt. Interviews with the suspects initially produced denials and fabricated explanations. Some claimed they were simply traveling together as a family regularly. Others said they were collecting luggage for friends or relatives abroad. Hamza Shafet, the youngest, appeared visibly distressed during his interview initially. He admitted his involvement, but described feeling pressured by his mother. He stated he did not fully understand the consequences at first. His age and evident vulnerability added complexity to the prosecution's approach. June Shafak, the eldest son, refused to answer most questions initially. He invoked his right to silence during early interviews with officers. However, the weight of evidence made denial increasingly untenable over time. Muhammad Ami Shafak admitted to acting as a courier reluctantly, eventually. He described receiving direct instructions from his mother before each trip. He confirmed that the operation had been running for several months. Muhammad also acknowledged his role, but downplayed his level of involvement. He claimed he was only following instructions and did not ask questions. Sarah Hussein, the daughter-in-law, maintained she was unaware of the details. She insisted she believed the trips were legitimate family holidays initially. However, phone records contradicted this account, with incriminating messages found clearly. Safanor, aged 19, broke down during her interview with police officers. She admitted to carrying suitcases, but claimed ignorance of the contents. Her youth and evident distress were noted in the interview transcripts. Khaled Abdul Kawi, the family friend, also initially denied any wrongdoing. He stated he was simply helping the family with travel arrangements. But his phone contained messages that directly implicated him in collections. As the interviews progressed, cracks began to appear in the stories. Contradictions emerged between the accounts given by different family members clearly. Some admitted details that others had denied outright during earlier interviews. Investigators used these inconsistencies to apply pressure and extract further admissions. Kauser herself remained largely silent throughout her initial detention and questioning. She provided only basic personal details and refused to answer questions. Her silence was interpreted as an attempt to protect the operation. Prosecutors later described her as cold, calculated, and entirely unremorseful. The investigation took several months to complete before charges were filed. Detectives reviewed thousands of hours of surveillance footage from multiple airports. They cross-referenced flight records, phone data, and financial transactions meticulously. Every detail was checked and verified to ensure a watertight case. The Crown Prosecution Service authorized charges against all 8 suspects eventually. Each faced multiple counts of conspiracy to import Class A drugs. Additional charges included conspiracy to supply cocaine and money laundering offenses. The complexity of the case required extensive legal preparation before trial. If you're still watching, type "I'm watching" in the comments section. Fazana Kauser was the mastermind behind the entire criminal enterprise. She was 54 years old and lived in Bradford, West Yorkshire. Kauser had no prior convictions for drug-related offenses on record. She appeared to lead a quiet life, but orchestrated millions in smuggling. Her motive was financial gain on a significant and sustained scale. She exploited her own children to build her criminal network deliberately. Kauser maintained control through family loyalty and her position of authority. She communicated with overseas contacts to arrange shipments and logistics carefully. Her leadership style was cold, calculated, and entirely without remorse shown. June Shafak, age 33, was Kauser's eldest son and deputy. He coordinated travel arrangements and oversaw the courier's movements directly. His role was essential to the smooth operation of the conspiracy. Mohammed Ami Shafak, age 28, acted as a courier on multiple occasions. He collected suitcases at Birmingham Airport and transported them to Bradford. His involvement was significant and spanned several months of activity repeatedly. Muhammad, age 22, also worked as a courier within the network. He was one of the younger members drawn into the operation. His participation showed the extent of Kauser's control over her children. Sarah Hussein, age 27, was Kauser's daughter-in-law and active participant. She took part in trips and collections as directed by Kauser. Her involvement widened the circle of family members implicated in crime. Safanor, aged 19, was one of the youngest couriers in the group. She traveled to Europe and collected luggage under her mother's instructions. Her age highlighted the exploitation inherent in the family-based conspiracy clearly. Hamza Shafet, aged 17, was a minor when the offenses occurred. He was the youngest member of the group and legally a child. His involvement raised serious questions about coercion and exploitation by adults. Khalid Abdul Qawi, age 36, was a trusted family friend recruited separately. He assisted with logistics and took part in collections at the airport. His participation demonstrated the tight-knit nature of the criminal network overall. All 8 were arrested following months of surveillance and intelligence gathering. The arrests occurred in November 2024 at Birmingham Airport and Bradford addresses. Kauser was caught through patterns identified in travel and communications data. Her overconfidence and repeated use of the same methods led to exposure. The family's loyalty to her did not protect them from prosecution. Each member's role was documented in phone records and surveillance footage clearly. The evidence against them was overwhelming and impossible to refute effectively. All 8 suspects were charged with conspiracy to import Class A drugs. Additional charges included conspiracy to supply cocaine and money laundering offenses. The case was heard at Bradford Crown Court over several weeks. The prosecution presented extensive evidence, including phone records and surveillance footage. Flight booking data, bank statements, and forensic evidence were also submitted. The defense attempted to argue coercion and lack of knowledge initially. However, the weight of evidence undermined these claims at every turn. Fazana Kauser was found guilty on all counts in court proceedings. She was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment for her role. The judge described her as the architect of a sophisticated operation. He noted her exploitation of her own children as an aggravating factor. Jund Shafak was found guilty and sentenced to 14 years imprisonment. His position as deputy and coordinator resulted in a significant sentence. Mohammed Ami Shafak received a sentence of 12 years for his role. Muhammad was sentenced to 10 years for his involvement as courier. Sarah Hussein received a sentence of 8 years for her active participation. Safanor was sentenced to 6 years, with to 6 consideration given to her age. Hamza Shafet, as a minor, was sentenced to 4 years in youth detention. The court acknowledged his vulnerability and the pressure he faced from family. Khalid Abdul Qawi received a sentence of 11 years for his involvement. All sentences were delivered in early 2025, following the conclusion of trial. Confiscation proceedings were initiated to recover assets gained through the conspiracy. Kauser's home and financial accounts were frozen pending further legal action. The judge commended West Yorkshire Police and Border Force for their work. He stated that the investigation had been thorough and professional throughout. The case was described as a significant success in tackling organized crime. The Birmingham Airport drug conspiracy ended with 8 convictions and substantial sentences. If this case interested you, please subscribe to the channel now. Hit the like button and share this video with others. Your support helps us continue, producing detailed crime documentaries like this. Thank you for watching.